Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Come on in, come on in. It's dinner time, so come on in and sit down at the dinner table and go ahead and invite some more family members and friends. Also, keep in mind that we may have some guests, so we would like for you to scoot down a little bit and have some room for some guests that may be coming by and want some of the good food for the soul. If this is your first time at the dinner table, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Toomer, and I talk about relationships. I talk about relationships basically from a spiritual point of view. When I say spiritual, I strongly believe in the relationship that God established in the beginning of time when He established the relationship between Himself and the man Adam, Himself and the woman Eve, and God represented the woman to the man after taking a rib about the man, that man being Adam. And in the presence of God, Adam said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I shall call a woman because she came from man. That's the particular type of relationship that I strongly believe in. If you have another viewpoint on relationship, God gave you a free will. He allowed you to exercise your free will. But if you want to do the relationship the right way, my advice to you is to look at the book of Genesis and see how God orchestrated and designed, and He had a pattern of how a relationship should be between Himself and a man, Himself and a woman, and He being a part of the relationship with the man and the woman. That's the position that I come from. I'm on two different platforms. I'm on the book and I'm on the tube. Those you on the tube, I may make some comments to those that are on the book. You may not see their names or their comment, but on the flip side, those of you that are on the tube, I may make some comments to those that are on the book. And you may not see their names or comment, but hey, we're family here, and I'm going to call out the names. And every now and then, I'm going to also mention the comments. During our discussion at the dinner table, my brother and sister, this is your time to ask questions or make comments while we're here at the dinner table. And if you are a guest at the dinner table, by all means, you could talk. You can add a comment, or you can ask a question also. With that said, we're about to look at the menu. And on the menu for tonight, we're going to discuss this particular topic. And that particular topic, my brother and sister, is when you have, well, not when you have, when you're having a relationship problem with your mate who you shouldn't talk to. This is what we're going to talk about. When you are having a relationship problem with your mate, who you shouldn't talk to, and a key word, why. This is what we're going to talk about. Now, my brothers and sisters, why do most people that are in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship think that there will be sunny days all the time, 24/7, 7 days a week? When the truth is, there's going to be storms that come into the relationship. So when it comes to relationship, like any other thing in life, my brother and sister, you're going to have to face storms in life. Not only when it comes to the weather, but you're going to have to face storms when we're talking about relationship. And what I'm talking about, you're going to either be going into the storm, my brothers and sisters, you're going to be in the midst of the storm, or you're going to be going out. It's rotate. So there's no ifs and buts about it. You will have sunny days in life. And when we would not only life, but when we're going to talk about relationship, you're going to have storms in a relationship. So you better have your rain gear on and whatever you need, because storms are coming. The thing about it, when storms are come, you have to be able to realize and be realistic that a storm going to come to your relationship. Okay, there's no perfect man, there's no perfect woman. So therefore, a man and woman, they think differently, and they're going to bump heads, and they're going to have disagreement. So that's what you need to understand. Storms going to come, and brother and sister, when those storms come and you and your mate go through those storms together, make sure you don't jump over the ship. It's better to stay on the inside of the ship when the storm. Why do you want to jump off the ship when it comes to a relationship? You shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't jump off the ship. You shouldn't. So at the dinner table tonight, again, what we're going to discuss, when you're having a relationship problem with your mate who you shouldn't talk to and why. Now we're going to do this appetizer. And the appetizer, we're going to go to the book of Matthew 11:28 through 30. Again, this Matthew 11:28, 30. Matthew 11:28, 30. Jesus is doing the talking. Jesus said, "Come unto me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am gentle and of a humble heart, and you will find rest for your soul. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Listen to what Jesus is saying. Jesus talk about in general when it comes to life, my brother and sister. He said that come to me. This isn't anything, but we'll talk about relationship. This including relationship. Jesus said, come to me. If you're weary, if you're burdened in your relationship, and Jesus said, I'm going to give you rest. Even though you're going to go through a storm, Jesus is going to give you a rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me. I am gentle and of a humble heart, and you will find rest for your soul. That's including a relationship. Jesus talked about life in general, but we're talking, and life in general includes relationship. And my yoke is easy, my burden is light. How you doing, Sister Sheila Ferguson? Welcome to the dinner table, sister. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, let's discuss the different phases of a relationship, my brother and sister. When you're entering into a relationship, you got to understand that there are phases to the relationship. And we're going to talk about 5 of those phases. Okay, 5 of the phases. When you are entering into a relationship, my brother and sister, this part is the excitement part. Brother, you meet this what appear to be this fantastic woman. Sister, you appear to meet this outstanding man, and you get all excited. You wondering how you was able to meet this one particular person. This phase of the relationship, my brother and sister, is called infatuation. This is what it's called. Most of the time when relationships start off, you be very excited. But this, you got to understand, this is the birth part of most relationships. And you see, you have gone through labor pains, my brother and sister, basically probably from other relationships. You went through labor pain. Now you're being delivered. And you're being delivered, and behold, it's a baby boy or baby girl, and now everybody's happy, right? Meaning you're happy, brother and sister, you are happy because you think that you have met this wonderful, perfect person, but you're in the phase called infatuation. Now, what is infatuation defined as? Infatuation is defined as an intense but short-lived passion or admiration for someone or something. This normally, my brother and sister, is the phase where most people will ignore red flags. So during the infatuation part, you feel so good about this person. A lot of times, this is the one of the most important part of the relationship, how you started out. A lot of times, men and women, you ignore red signs at the beginning. You see them, but you ignore them. Majority of the time, that's what happens. You see them, but you ignore them because you thinking on a subconscious level that man or woman going to change for the better. That's what you thinking. He or she going to change for the better. Where I could, or you think subconscious that you could change that man or woman. Brother and sister, you do not have the ability to change another man or woman. Hey, you could barely change yourself, and the only way a man or woman going to change for the better anyway is with a relationship with God the Father through Jesus Christ. So no man or woman on his or her own can change for the better. Let's put that out there. You can't change for the better. And this is the infatuation part. When you overexcited, but it's short-lived, that's when you can't wait to see that person. You want to call that person. You want to text that person. You want contact. That take me back to my high school days when I was called myself in love. You know, some of you all before it got to what should I say, call waiting and everything. That means that if someone want to call in, They can't call in if the line busy unless the operator called in and said, will you release the line? But during that particular time, in my high school days, I would talk to this young lady, and we didn't want to hang up the phone. We were so excited over one another. Sometimes we'll go silent, and some of you can identify with this. You know, you be so sleepy, but you don't want to hang up the phone. And then the person called your name and said, are you sleeping? You said, no, I'm not sleeping. You don't want to hang up the phone. And then after a while, you be so sleepy and you wake up and the person gone off the phone call, you actually fell asleep. Have you ever experienced that, my brother and sister, those type of relationship when you be overly excited, when you have to be with that man or that woman, you think that you can't do nothing without that man or woman. That's the infatuation part when it comes to relationship. It doesn't only happen to high schoolers, it happened to grown men and grown women. After the infatuation part, there's another phase to the relationship. It's close to the infatuation part, but it's not the infatuation part. That called unrealistic expectations. So when we look at unrealistic expectations, that is defined as expectations that are not based on facts or that are unlikely to happen. You understand? Unrealistic expectations. A lot of you men and a lot of you brothers, I mean, a lot of you brothers and a lot of you sisters, you have unrealistic expectations when it comes to a relationship. Your expectations are not based on facts. A lot of time, brothers and sisters, your relationship is based on how you feel, and you ignore the facts and what things are more than likely not going to happen anyway, and then sometimes they're going to happen. This can lead to disappointment when you have unrealistic expectation. It can also lead to hurt when your needs are not met. That's what you have, those high expectations, and you think you done been sister through all the bad men, bro. You think you done been through all the bad women, and this other person, he or she disappoint you. They disappoint you. You know why they disappoint you? Because you did not realize that that man or woman that you're in a relationship with is not perfect. You see, you looking for a perfect man, sister, and brother, you looking for a perfect woman. Let me tell you right now, the perfect man does not exist, sister. Brother, the perfect woman does not exist. However, the right person does exist. The right person, if you have a relationship with God through Jesus Christ, he could orchestrate you to meet the right person. The Lord never brings a perfect man and a perfect woman together under one exception. And that was back in Genesis when he brought Eve to Adam. That's the only perfect couple that had lived on the face of the earth. They was perfect at one time until we know they made a crucial decision, and we know what happened, okay? But, brother, the perfect woman does not exist. If you're looking for the perfect woman, brother, you're going to keep going from woman to woman to woman. Sister, the perfect man does not exist. You're going to keep going from man to man to man. And the madness is going to keep going. That's why a lot of men and women, they want to be in a relationship, but what they do not understand on a subconscious level, they're looking for that perfect person. That's why a lot of men and a lot of women, they kind of hesitant about getting a relationship because they're looking for a perfect person. You're not, he or she doesn't exist. You got to understand that. And when you have unrealistic expectation, that can lead to, again, disappointment and hurt when they are not met. Unrealistic expectation, my brothers and sisters, can be conscious or unconscious. And then after the infatuation phase, the unrealistic expectation, the next phase of a relationship is mask a cover. Mask a cover. What I mean, a lot of men, a lot of women, they wear masks. And you got to understand it, my brother and sister. When you meet someone, more than likely that man or woman got a mask on. As a matter of fact, you probably have a mask on too. Don't take yourself out of the equation. You probably got a mask on too. You know why you got a mask on? Because you want to put your best foot forward. Just like that man or woman trying to put his or her best foot forward, you walking on ice. A lot of times, men and women at the beginning part of relationship, you so conscious and you want to be perfect. instead of relaxing and being yourself at the door. When the door starts, when you hear somebody knocking, when you hear the relationship, just be yourself. But most men and most women, they wear masks. And a mask is a covering for all parts of the face, worn as a disguise or to amuse or terrify other people. So more than likely, when a man or woman put on a mask, they don't want to terrify you. They want to amuse you. They want to impress you. Okay. And after that, there's another part of the relationship. When a man and a woman start taking off the mask, when a man and woman start taking off the mask, that's when that man start getting comfortable around you, sister, and brother, she start getting comfortable around you. That's when the mask go up, you come down. And you see what they used to be, you got to understand that the real person going to be revealed. Eventually, the real person going to be revealed. You can't not keep up the masquerade. The masquerade party comes to an end when the clock hit 12 o'clock. It's going to change back to how it was. So you're at what is called the crossroad of decision. What does that mean? It is defined as a crisis situation or point in time when a critical decision must be made. At the crossroad of decision, when you get through the infatuation, when you get through the unrealistic expectation, when you get through with the weighing the math, you're at the crossroad decision. At that particular point, my brother and sister, you going to decide whether or not you going to stay with that man or woman or not. You're gonna come face to face with the unrealistic expectation, and you're gonna come face to face with some flaws that you ignored at the beginning of the relationship. So you're gonna have to at the crossroad at this particular time. You seeing some what could be positive traits from that man or woman, and then at another time you seeing some of the negative traits that you really don't get up on. At this particular time, there's going to be some things that irk you about that woman, brother, and there's going to be some things that irk you, sister, about that man. So you're going through the little Urkel situation. Then I'm saying that what you're going to be going through, my brother and sister. Then after the crossroad, this is when you got to live with your decision. You can't blame nobody, my brother, and you cannot blame no sister, and you cannot blame no sister, brother, and sister. You cannot blame no man for the decision that you are going to make. You like that, Sister Cheryl, the Urker. You like that. So when you live with your decision, you have to accept or come to terms with something, especially that which is disappointing, undesirable, or upsetting. Thank you, Sister Ferguson. So when you come to living with your decision, you got to accept or come to terms with something, meaning that man or that woman, especially that which is disappointing, undesirable, or upsetting. So my brother and sister, when you are in a relationship with a man or woman, you're going to experience some disappointments. You're going to experience something that's undesirable, and you're going to experience being upset. I know you, brothers and sisters, you see that young lady up on the wall, Cinderella, my wife. I know a lot of you think that we perfect, don't you? I know a lot of you think that we the perfect couple. I know a lot of you think that we never bump heads and stuff. Yes, we do. We have faced storms in our relationship, my brother and sister, but let me tell you, we realized that when the storm came, we went into the storms. And when we went into the storm, we had someone in the storm with us. And who was that? We had Jesus Christ in the storm with us, okay? We had Jesus in the storm, and we got out the storm, okay? I'm going to get back to something like that later. Now, a relationship, my brother and sister, is defined as any connection between two people, which can be either positive or negative. However, a relationship between a man and a woman is basically called a romantic relationships, okay? That's what a relationship between a man and woman is basically called. It's called a romantic relationship. In a romantic relationship, men and women feel love, They feel tenderness for one another and may also be sexually involved. That's right. Normally, sex going to come up in a relationship, but it's better to have sex, my brother and sister, when you're doing it the right way. And what is the right way? God's way. And you know, God's way is being what? Married. Now, a healthy romantic relationship, my brother and sister, is one in which the man and the woman involved can grow together while they are retaining a sense of individuality. Alternatively, a legal and socially sanctioned unity between a man and a woman is called a marriage. This is the type of relationship that is right in the sight of God the Father and the Lord Jesus. So when it comes to a relationship between a man and a woman, God, I have always said that, and I'm going to say this too, I can't say it no more. God only identify a relationship when it gets to the end goal, when a man and a woman say, I do. Now, he acknowledged when a man and a woman is in a betrothal to get married, that means engaged. He will acknowledge that, but he will really be happy, my brother and sister, when you say, I do. When you are serious, when you commit, and when you become in a covenant relationship. That's the one that God are really like. Now, back to what's on the menu. Remember what's on the menu for tonight. What's on the menu for tonight is when you are having relationship problem with your mate, who you shouldn't talk to and why. The key word is who you shouldn't talk to. Let's start with what normally men and women do when they have relationship problem. Instead of basically talking to that man that she's having a problem with, or that woman that he's having a problem with, what do most people do? They try to ignore it. They try to skirt around it. They may mention it to his or her spouse, but what more than likely he or she going to do? They're going to go talk to other people. And who are these other people? These other people are outsiders. These are outsiders. That's right, Sister Cheryl, they call a friend. Now, we're going to go over some relationships, my brother and sister, that you should not bring into your relationship. It's vital, my brother, and it's vital, my sister, that you do not bring these elements or people into your relationship, because the only thing they're going to do is probably make it worse. Let's start with your family. We're going to start with your family. Now, naturally, my brother, and naturally, my sister, you have heard that the saying that blood is thicker than water. You have heard that before, right? Now, brother and sister, you could be in a good, what appear to be a pretty good relationship with a member of the opposite sex, whereas your family may like that person. What I mean, brother, your family may like that woman that you're in a relationship with. As a matter of fact, they may love her. And sister, the same way, your family may love that man. But, or however, anytime you hear but or however, that means it's transitioning to the flip side of the coin. That same man and that same woman that your family love, it don't take nothing but you with your acid tongue to say something about that man or woman. And more than likely, your family is going to initially take your side. You know why your family going to initially take your side? Because you family. That's how most family do. They take the side of next of kin than the other party. Most people that are in your family will not be objective. What do I mean by that? They won't hold back their quote unquote judgment on that man or woman based on what you said. Most family members, they're going to instantly side with you, which is definitely wrong. It is definitely wrong. That's why a lot of people in your family, you got to understand, my brother and sister, like in all other relationships, most people in your family that are or have been in a relationship, they are some of the worst some of the worst advice you can receive. A lot of people in your relationship, they will not, if you go to them and talk about a relationship, they will not tell you nothing like this. Hey, give it time. Work on it. There's going to be storms in your relationship. Stay on the boat. Don't jump off the boat. You got to realize this, that man or that woman is a human. That man or that woman will fall. You got to understand that, just like you are human and you will fall. How you doing, Sister Flo? Welcome to the dinner table. So most of your family members are not going to talk to you this way. Most of your family members, they're not going to give that man or woman the benefit of the doubt when you run with your acid tongue and try to bring that man or woman down. You see, your family are accustomed to seeing you and your mate in a loving mood, right? But then one day you go around the family and then you want to start tearing that man, sister, or brother, that woman down in front of your family. You see what you're doing. Your family member possibly had a positive outlook or opinion on that man or woman based on their experience around that man. So they got a positive and they love being around that man, or they love being around a woman. But now you're going to take some acid around that man, your relative, and you're going to start talking negative. What do you think happening to most of your family members when you start talking negative about that man or woman? They're going to side with you most of the time, because blood is thicker than water, unless you got a horrible history and your family, nobody, and your family. And if your family is straight up and they know that you got a horrible history and they know that you go from relationship to relationship, you can't stay in a relationship, your family member need to say, hey, why you keep having problems with them men and women? Why you keep going through relationship? I love you, but you might be the common denominator. Why do other people get in a relationship with you and they go and you always playing the victim? That's how a lot of men and women do, especially you sister. I'm sorry, sister, but a lot of times you all play victim. Men play victim too. But a lot of times, you sisters, you play like you the victim, like you innocent, like you ain't did nothing. And the little halo over your head, but the halo is not upright, it's leaning to the left. That's some of you brothers too. You want to talk so much about your family. Then when you take your mate around your family members again, your mate going to feel some kind of way, especially if your mate is a Christian. Your mate is going to feel, that's right to the floor, the halo around here. Your mate is going to feel some kind of way, because if he's a Christian or he or she's a Christian, their discernment going to kick in. And something going to say, something ain't right. Here, the family member, they're not talking to me like they used to. They're not engaging in no conversation like they used to. They're not touching me like they used to. They kind of like seem uncomfortable around me. That's how your mate gonna feel, my brother and sister. When you take your mate around your family member, a lot of them are gonna turn against them. And this is the part what really upsetting. A lot of time, my brother and sister, after you have acid mouth your significant other in front of your family member and friend, and then when you patch up, check this out. When you patch up, then you go around your family members and friends, and they still got an attitude against their mate. You know why they got an attitude against their mate? Because your acid mouth. Your acid mouth did something to your family member mind. Now they left eyeing your mate because of your mouth. Don't you know, my brother and sister, that your words have the power of life and death? So when you were talking negative about your mate, you cause a death sentence in the minds and heart of your relatives. And a lot of times your relatives are going to hold things against your mate longer than you do, because you happy with your mate one day, now you got a problem, and then you blabbermouth your mate. Now y'all back together again. You're in the honeymoon phase again, right? You're in the honeymoon phase. then you start noticing that your people got an attitude against your mate. Then you're going to say, what's wrong with you all? Why y'all ain't treating him or her like you used to? You know why? Your acid mouth. That's why you told your mate up. And you see, the thing about it is this. If you going to tell your family member, brother, about that woman, and sister, if you're going to tell your family member about that man, why don't you do this? If you're going to blabbermouth, why are you doing it behind his or her back? That's what most men and women do. You're going to blabbermouth or acid mouth that man or woman when he or she is not around. Because let me tell you something. When it comes to the truth, there is three sides to it. It's your side, his or her side, and the truth in the middle. That's why when you go to court, if you look at a courtroom room setting, you have the plaintiff, and you have the defendant, and you have the jury, and you have the judge. Why is it? You see, the jury is not going to hear one side of the story. The jury is going to hear the plaintiff and the defendant. So the jury have to listen to both sides of the story and go through the evidence that is presented. And once they go through that evidence that is presented, they deliberate. And when they deliberate, they come back with a judgment. And when they come back through a judgment, they pass this little paper to the judge. The judge look at the paper, and the judge know, and then the judge send it back, and the judge get the foreman to stand up and say, have you reached a verdict? And the verdict will say either innocent or guilty. We find the defendant innocent or guilty. My brother and sister, since you got an acid mouth and stuff, some of you, and you want to talk negative about your mate, why don't you, in all fairness, when you and that man or woman around, you don't supposed to do it anyway. Why don't you do it in front of his or her face? Most men and most women, you just like Chicken Little. You ain't gonna do it. You're not gonna do it. You two-faced it. You doing one thing in front of your mate, but you're doing another thing behind your mate. Don't talk to your family members about that, because a lot of times your family members, they are envious. If you got a good relationship, a lot of your family members are envious and jealous of your relationship. What do I mean by envious? They want what you have. That's what envy is. You see, some people mix envy and jealous up. They want what you have, which is envy. They don't have that good relationship. Now, jealous, they jealous because you, brother, is getting attention from a woman that some of the men think they ain't getting from their woman. And some of you sisters, they are jealous of you because their man is not giving them the attention that you're getting. We talk about your family members. How you doing, Sister Cheryl? Welcome to the dinner table. But so, my brother said, you got to understand, some of your family members, they are envious and jealous of your relationship. Don't you realize, my brother and sister, some of your family members, they sitting around with some Orville Redenbacher popcorn popping, and they looking at you. They looking for drama. They want to say, you know what a lot of your family members want to say? I knew he or she, they was a fake. That's what they waiting for. They waiting for that moment. And you going to aid them with your acid mouth, talking to that man or woman about your mate. The next group of people, wait a minute, let me stay with the family member. Some of your family members, they don't even know how. You go to your family member asking them for advice. Most of the time when you go to your family member for advice, your family member don't even have no relationship with God through his son Jesus. So you get negative counseling. That's why you don't talk to your family member, because a lot of them, they don't have a relationship with God. You see, if they had a relationship with God, God's spirit would be dwelling in them, and they would give you godly counsel. Meaning they would encourage you to forgive, be patient, be kind, still treat him or her right, try to work on it, restore your relationship. But most of your family members not. Some of your family members, they don't even know what it's like to have a good relationship, brother and sister, like you do. Because what you got to realize, if you have a good relationship, like I said, Every day is not going to be sunny. You're going to run into the storm. That's what you need to understand. That's why you didn't understand what I had said earlier. You went through the infatuation stage, which was the excitement phase. You went through the unrealistic expectation. You ignored that man or woman is a human, and he or she was going to mess up, or you thought you could change him or her. Then you went through the mess. When that man and woman start getting comfortable around you, you start seeing more of the real deal. And the last name was not Holyfield, but you start seeing more of the real deal about that person. And while you point that one finger at that man or woman, didn't you not notice that you had 1, 2, 3 coming back at you? That's how most of the brothers and sisters are. You be pointing out things about your mate, but when you go tell your family and friend, you don't tell them what you have said, what you have done. You're going to make your mate look like the bad guy. And they're going to come because they're your blood. And they're going to side with you. Most of them are going to side with you. Unless you have an objective family member, and they want to hear both sides of the story before they come to a conclusion. But in general, no. Because like most of your family members say, they envious and jealous of your relationship. If you have a good relationship, they got that overridden box of popcorn because they're looking for some drama. Don't you know a lot of your family and friends, they really desire to see your relationship come to an end? Why should you have a good relationship? That's what some of them be saying. In their mind, why should you have a good relationship? And some of the women, brothers and sisters, let me tell you this. Some of your relative women married, got boyfriends, live with men and stuff, and you see the chaos they be going through with all these men. But your man is good. And guess what? Some of your relatives may secretly want your man. That can go for other things too. They may want your man. And the same thing, brother, you talking about what your wife won't do and all that kind of stuff. Overall, she good. Instead of talking to her about it, you want to talk to your family guys that run through women, that don't know how to treat women right. They don't know how to talk to them. They don't know how to listen. They don't know how to take care of them. And they don't know nothing about the women. They're going to tell you some barbershop stuff, how to do it. Like you, sister, your family member, women, they're going to tell you some stuff. Let's jump to the friends, okay? Now, this other group of people that you don't want to talk to are the barbershop people and the beauty shop people. You brothers, why are you going to the barbershop? When I said barbershop, I'm going to talk about you around a group of men. Why you want to go tell your group of men about your woman? Why you want to do it? Why you want to take it to the barbershop? I'm talking figuratively speaking. You ain't got to ask the barbershop, but you around a whole bunch of men. Why you want to go talk to your guys about it? Most of the guys that you associate with, brothers, you know that those guys aren't no good. Most of them, I ain't say all of them. You may have 1 or 3 guys that you know are straight up with women. But the rest of them, the rest of these men in general, they would like dogging women out. You know it. You know, brother, that most of the men, they all about getting a woman on their back. You know that. Why you want to? Because most of the guys you talk to, the first thing they're going to say, man, all these women around here and you complain about that one, go get you another woman and let her go. And while they telling you to go get another woman, those the guys that they know your work schedule, they're going to go by your house when you're not home, acting like you home and they were just in the neighborhood. Your friends. You done told them everything. Your friends. And let me tell you something, brothers. This is something that's real stupid that some of you brothers do with your friends. Some of you guys, you tell especially a lot of you married guys, you tell these other guys how your woman feel when y'all in the intimate moment, physically intimate. You know what y'all be doing, some of you guys. Why would you go tell another guy how your wife feel? and what your wife, how your wife be performing and how she be signing and all that kind of stuff. Why are you putting a picture in your guy friend's mind? They already see that you probably got an attractive woman. They see that you got an attractive woman. They know she nice and stuff. And let me tell you this, brother, about some of your guy friends. If your guy friends know that you stepping out on a good woman, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna probably go and tell your woman. You know, they're not telling your woman because they just want her to know. They see like your woman is fair game. You know why they think a woman? They saying if you out there doing something against a good woman, they could help you out with your woman. That's what you call your loyalty friends. That's what some of your guy friends would do for you, brother. When you doing some crap, they will come behind you and go try to serenade your woman. Sister Cheryl say, that's what the king advised a friend told him about. That, yeah, okay. And a good woman got hurt, but God had a plan for her too, just like he had for Elsa. Yes, I'm familiar with that story, Sister Ferguson. You are right. That king, he got ungodly advice from his friends. You see, what he tried to do, he tried to get his wife to come to this drunken party that he had. What Sister Ferguson talking about. The Esther story, the lady that was the queen before Esther. She said she wasn't going to go to the party. She was not disrespecting the king. She knew that he was drunk. She knew that his friend was drunk, and he wanted her to come and do some questionable things in front of his friend. But she had respect. She said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to lower my standard for them. That's why he pushed her away. But God had a plan for Esther to come in anyway, you know. But anyway, that's a long story. We can get into all that, but that'll be another time. But thank you, Sister Cheryl Ferguson, for sharing that. And some of you sisters, why are you going telling your beauty shop friends about your man? Your beauty shop friends, or it's when y'all go on girl trips and stuff, you tell them everything. And some of your girlfriends that aren't in a relationship, that got a half a pint of a man, those the one that gonna try to get you to do your thing when y'all go to Las Vegas on the girl trip. That's when your girlfriend that run through men, don't have a man, they know you got a good man, and they got their eye on your man. Cause you know what? You tell them all the good thing that the man do. Then you want to sprinkle in something negative he did. And they want your man. They may talk about your man, but they want your man. A lot of you sisters, you need to understand your barbershop women, a lot of them want your man. Especially, they know that he's not perfect, but they know they could see that he would be perfect for them. Don't you know, sister, that your girlfriend watch how your man treats you in front of them? Don't you realize that they watch because they got a half pint of a man, or no men or men that come through? They know that this man be doing solid stuff for you, and they ain't got no man to do it. They got a half a pint of a man, but they want your man. So don't talk to your girlfriend, because more than likely they don't have a relationship with the Lord. Because if they had a relationship with the Lord, they would tell you godly things about how to work on it with your man. They won't be encouraging you to go get a boyfriend. They won't be encouraging you by come telling you that, oh, since you and your man have problems, it's this man I know, he wanted to talk to you. They won't be slipping no communication to you. So the sheriff said, Sister Sheriff first said, and they send him pictures from the cell phone, even while you're in Vegas. Sister Sheriff know exactly what I'm talking about. That's what your girlfriends do for you, sister. So don't tell your girlfriends about your man. How you doing, brother Faulkner? Brother Faulkner said, preach, tell them the truth. Don't do it. And let me go a little further. Since I'm talking about girl trips, and I'm going to throw in men trips. Let me tell you about this. Listen to me carefully. Listen carefully. Guy trips and girl trips. You hear more about girl trips, but there are guy trips too. If you listen to me very carefully, if you are in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, you got to be very careful about girl trips and guy trips. Because most of the people that you going to go on these guy trips with, I could see if you going to go possibly with someone that believe in God like you. Do not be going on these trips with your ungodly brothers and sisters, because when they get out there, they're going to wild out. I'm just telling you, my brother and sister, brothers, the guy that you go with on these guy trips, fishing trips, or whatever you want to call it, y'all want to go on a gambling trip or whatever, your guy friend, majority of them just want to lay a woman anyway. They just want to lay a woman anyway, and they want you to be the part of it. They want to see where you break. Your guy friend want to see where you go lay a woman, so they can say, I know he want all of that. He going around acting like he all that, but look at him. His wife ain't around or whatever, and I knew he had it in him. That's what your guy friend is going to be doing for you. And your guy friend, they're going to lose respect for you, brother. They had a little respect and doubt when you were in town, but when you out of town and you start doing your little stuff, they're going to have a problem. You women, the same thing. If you go on these little girl trips with your little frisky girlfriends, you know a lot of women, they travel in packs, right? These little frisky women, they want you to get down and dirty with them. That leads me to, this just off the record, this leads me to when a man and woman get engaged, you got to be, and you're going to have that bridal party right before the wedding and the groom party right before the wedding. Let me tell you this, brother. If you're about to get married, don't allow your guys to do that little wild stuff, bringing the other women in to do that lap dance and stuff. You don't want that, because see, your guy friends, they talking about you need to do this. You need to do this for the road, because once you get married, you can't do this no more. And you see your friends your guy friend, brother, and you engaged, they're gonna have these women coming lap dancing and everything, and some of them they're gonna be ready to get down and dirty with you. And sister, some of you that are about to get married, your girlfriend, they're gonna bring these guys around you, these magic jack guys, the magic jack guys around you, so they could get all in your face with all in your face, and you doing all like this, and your girlfriend, they cheering them on and stuff like that. Those type of parties, those ungodly parties. I could see if your friends, Sister Cheryl said the Chippendale, your girlfriend, they're gonna have the Chippendales come around. And you know what the Chippendales gonna do? They're gonna come around and they're gonna have their hand all behind their head and wiggling and stuff like that. And then you, brother, you're gonna have those women that are gonna be at your thing, and they're gonna be back. They're gonna do like Juvenile said, back in that thing up. They're gonna be doing all that kind of stuff. You don't want no friend. Those aren't your friends. They trying to start you off bad. You say, hey, thank you, but you need to know what's going on at those party before you get that. Yeah, so Cheryl said hookers and tassels. Yeah. So you got to understand, my brother and sister, I was just going on a sidebar, but let me get back to the story. My brother and sister, your friends, you got to watch them. And let me tell you something about your friend, my brother and my sister. Let me tell you this. When you get in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, you may have to let some of your friends go. Listen to me carefully. When you get into a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, some of your friends, you may have to let them go. Want me to tell you why? Because if you have friends that doesn't have the same mindset as you, they're going to influence you more than you're going to influence them. They're going to influence. So let me tell you this, my brother. Let me tell you this. if you in a serious committed covenant relationship, you can't be constantly out there hanging with men that aren't walking the same walk you're doing, because they're going to influence you. You're going to see what they're doing. You know why you can see what they're doing? Because they're not in a serious committed and covenant relationship. So they are at liberty to do more than you are. You in a serious committed and covenant relationship. And the same thing, sister. You may have to let some of your girlfriends go, because they're not under the same boundary as you are when you're in a serious committed covenant relationship. You got to make a decision. Sister Tanya, how you doing? Sister Tanya said, amen. Keep your relationship business to yourself. You got to understand that some of your friends you might have to let go. As a matter of fact, let me tell you about my friends. I got one natural brother. His name is Larry. And I got two guy friends. One name is Demetrius Ellison, and one is named Brian Smith. Now, Brian Smith and Demetrius, these are my guy friends, right? Let me tell you about these guys. These guys are in a serious committed and covenant relationship. They treat their wives decent. They not only they treat their wife decent, they treat their family members decent and their children. These are family men. These are the type of men that I hang. You know why I hang around their family? Because that's what we got in common. We are family. Some people, some women, they were saying, Tony, can you introduce me to some of your guy friends? I can't help you. The only thing I could do, sister, is pray for you. I ain't got no guy friend that I can introduce you to. I don't have any that I can introduce you to. Now, these single guys, you need to pray to God. That's God department. This is not your brother Tony department. You got to pray to God for a man to find you. I can't help you. So you need to start asking me to find your man. I can't find your man. You have to ask God for that. Because you see, the men the single men, you got to understand this, sister. A lot of the single men, and I have told you this ratio before, out of 10 men, only 3 of them will do you right. The other 7 want to just put you on your back. Can you understand that, sister? I know that's a hard pill to swallow, sisters. But out of 10 men, only 3 will try to treat you good. But the other one, they don't want to treat you good, because most of them are worldly men. The only thing they want to do, sister, is put you on your back and have you to open your legs. That's what you got to understand. I don't want to introduce you to nothing like that. I know guys like that, but I'm not going to introduce you to those type of guys. So pray to God to prepare you to be a wife, and God, through life circumstance, he will cause the right man to find you. He's going to set it up. And you guys, when you asking me to set you up with a woman, the only woman that I know, my wife, most of the people that she socialized with, most of them are married, that she normally hang around with. They're married. They're in a not saying that she have nothing to do with single people. I have something to do with single people, and she has something to do with single people, but that's how we travel. We travel with people that got something in common with us. Now, what would I look like if I just hang with people that are men that aren't in a serious committed covenant relationship? I go hang out with them. And I know if I hang out with a lot of men that aren't bound to a relationship, they're going to be basically out there trying to see what they could do for women. Then if I go to a club with them, they're going to say, Tony, hey, why don't you let me buy you something to drink? And then if they convince me to get something to drink, then I'm going to see all these women walking around now, and they're gonna be twerking. I'm drunk, and these women twerking. I'm drunk, and these women twerking. I keep saying that wrong. Twerking. And while these women are twerking, I'm drunk, and I'm gonna start having sinful thoughts about them. And you all know what I'm talking about. With these guys that they're not in no relationship with no woman per se. They're not in a serious committed covenant relationship. So that's gonna influence me, brothers and sisters. I'm sitting in the club, drinking, drunk, then seeing these women walk around showing all that stuff. And I'm a man. I'm gonna be looking at that stuff. Yeah, I'm married to Cinderella. But if I'm in an environment like that and looking at these women walk around with all that stuff, that's temptation. And I might want to approach some of these women, and it's wrong. And I put myself in that environment. Do you follow what I'm saying? About your friend. Don't talk, brother and sister, to your friends about your relationship. Because most of them, they will not come to you with godly advice. Another group you don't talk to, your co-workers. Sister Cheryl said, that move, why did I get married? That's a good move. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl said, why did I get married? Sister Cheryl, that's that movie that Chris Rock was in, right? Was that the movie that Chris Rock was in, Sister Cheryl Ferguson? Is that? Sister Cheryl Ferguson said, like Magic Johnson and his friend cruising. 4 couples, no single, a lot of memories and fellowship. That's what you do. Well, who was in that movie? Well, I know Chris Rock was in. Oh, you talk about that one of Tyler Perry movies, right, Sister Ferguson? Why did I get married? Is that one of Tyler Perry movies, I think? But Chris Rock was in the movie. Jill Scott. Okay. So, brother. Okay, thank you, Sister Cheryl. She said yes. Okay. All right. Now, let me tell you that my brother and sister, co-workers. Stop talking to your co-workers. Your co-workers, my brother and sister, they are your colleagues and they your associates. Now, sometimes you may become friends with them, but for the most part, my brother and sister, when you go to work, you going to work. You respect your co-workers. They should respect you, but they're not your friends. They're your associate. You got to understand the difference between associates and friends. And some of you guys, you be going and telling all your business. They don't even know your woman. They go to social media trying to see how she look. And some of you women, you go tell everything to these women. And let me tell you what they're going to do behind your back. Just like your friends and like your family, they're going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you, brother and sister. They're going to get tired of listening to you, and they're going to talk negative about you. Sister Ferguson said, especially that man or woman that may want to be your work husband or work wife. That's some real stuff. What Cheryl Ferguson say. You got to watch those titles at work. My work husband, my work wife. You got to watch that, because sometimes it could be something to that. Because most of the time you do spend time. You do spend time, if you working out there, my brother and sister, around people. Majority of the time, you around more people. You around other people more than you with your mate. Most of the time, you are, and that could be some dangerous stuff. You go and sharing your stuff with your co-worker stuff, and then you end up, quote unquote, having an affair. That's right. Some of you end up and you have an affair. Well, we don't call it an affair with you married people. We're going to call it adultery. And you're going to try to figure out how you got that, because you were running your mouth. You were using your acid tongue, and your co-worker, they say, we can make it right. You see, some of you brothers, sisters, y'all got some better rights at your job, and you got some Joes at your job. What do I mean by better right? You got some clean up women at your job, brothers and sisters. You got some clean up woman. And then that's what you got, brother, some clean up woman. Well, now, brother, let me tell you, brother, you got some Joes on your job. What do Joe do? If you all remember the artist named Joe, he always, the song that he normally sing, he always telling these women, I could treat you better than him. You ever know? Yeah, that's right. So the sheriff, Joe said, I want to know. He wants to know what turn you on. You see, some of you sisters, you go to your job and you talk to Joe. And Joe just want to know what I could do to turn you on, baby. He shouldn't treat you that way. Don't you know you're a nice woman? Look, you look good. You fine. You fine as wine. Why don't you and I have lunch together sometime? Let's work out sometime together. Let's have dinner. Let's walk around the track. Let's hang out. Let's go to a movie. Let's go to a movie dinner. It's going to be innocent. Yeah, Joe, right. And then the cleanup women. Some of you brothers, you go to work and you're with your work wife and you tell her everything. Everything you telling your work wife, she thinking about how I'm gonna do what his wife is not doing. And if his wife is doing something that he don't like, I'm not going to do it. So these women listening to you. Then you end up with the cleanup woman. That's right. Listen to that song, The Cleanup Woman. If you all don't know that song, listen to it. It's an old song. Listen to the lyrics in the song, The Cleanup Woman and Joe, I Want to Know. Stop. And then let's go to another group of people you don't want to talk to. You don't want to talk, and this is one of the most foolish things. The other group is foolish to go talk to your family member, your friend, and your coworker. Now, this is way out of line. Some men and some women, some of you brothers and sisters, you want to put it on social media. You want to put your business on social media. Some of you will say, my husband and my wife. That's what some of you would do. You're going to put your business way out there. Once you put your business on social media, you can delete it all you want. But once you got somebody in the snapshot it or whatever, they got your stuff. So you go out there and you asking all these people on social media for their advice. And when I read it's this married club that I'm a part of, right? On this married club. It's called the Married Club. It's a good for you people that are in a serious covenant. Yeah, a serious covenant. Let me back up. A serious committed and covenant relationship. The Marriage Club, that's a good club. It's positive. But then you get some unpositive people on there. What I know about the Married Club, and the Married Club is on the book, okay? Those of you on the book, if you're married, check out the Married Club. Some of the people that get on the Marriage Club, they ask people for their advice. Why are you going asking people on the marriage? Just because they married, that don't mean God put them together. Some he did, and a lot of them he didn't. When you see some study be writing, but the Married Club is supposed to be positive, okay? Supposed to be positive. You're going to ask questions, and not only on the Married Club, you're going to ask on the book and everything there about how to do your relationship. And then you get all these experts that want to tell you what you should do. Most of the experts that you are listening to on social media, they're not even in a relationship. They're going in our relationship. They don't know how to deal with rejection in a relationship. They don't know how to deal with hurt. They don't know none of it. They don't have nothing going for them, but they want to give you advice. Stop putting your business on social media, and then you end up saying, I'm just asking for a friend. We know who the friend is. You are your own friend. We know you're talking about yourself. We know you talk about yourself. Go on to social media. Another group that you don't want to talk to are people that on social media that call themselves relationship coaches. Listen for that. Relationship coaches. These type of people are basically not in a relationship. But for some strange reason, some of you Christian brothers and sisters, you listen to these relationship people. They ain't even in a relationship. Majority of them are not in a relationship, but they're going to tell you what to do. Or they are in a relationship, but they're not in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship. Yep, the late Kevin Samuel, yep, he gave a lot of advice. Kevin Samuel used to trigger a lot of you sisters. He used to trigger a lot of you sisters. And the high value kind of stuff, I can go on and on, but Kevin Samuels, he sparked some interesting conversation on his show when on Kevin Samuels. So this is what I just didn't understand. Some women would call in. They call in just to get blasted by him. And while these women call in and get blasted by him, the guys, they cheering Kevin Samuels on. Yeah, tell him. Because Kevin Samuels, he used to talk about what a woman should do. He would talk about a man should be a high-value man. He should make six figures and all that kind of stuff. When Kevin Samuels talked, he never gave women no advice to seek a man that come into their life, a godly man. He never talked about that. He always talked about a man need to make six figures and have all that kind of stuff, which is not a good recommendation. But hey, he had 1 million some subscribers, so that worked for him, but it was negative. A lot of time when these relationship coaches tell you something, my brother and sister, they tell you a lot of negative stuff, and you want to buy into that negative narrative. Don't do it. The relationship coaches. Then you have relationship counselors. Relationship counselors, they actually went to school and got their degrees in it. Let me tell you about relationship counselors. Majority of them are not godly. Majority of them are going to come to you and they're going to go by their PhDs and stuff. And let me tell you what happens when you go to a relationship counselor. The only thing they're going to do is go through what they were taught in school. You're going to pay the relationship counselor, like a relationship coach or something you do. You're going to pay the relationship coach. All you're going to do is go to their office. You're going to be sitting in a chair or laying on the couch. They're going to be writing some stuff. You're going to be doing all the talking. They're going to ask you a few questions and they're going to charge you some money. And then they're going to make some suggestions. They will never make suggestions about have you went to God? Have you prayed to God to help you with your problem? They ain't gonna do that. They're gonna stay away from it. So I have just told you, don't go talk to your family members. Don't talk to your friends. Don't talk to your coworkers. Don't talk to social media. Don't talk to relationship coaches. Don't talk to relationship counselors. Now, who should you talk to? That's right. Sister Cheryl said, then you end up a case study in their book. That's right. That's how it goes, Sister Cheryl. You end up that case study. Now, who should you talk to? The very first time you have problems, my brother and sister, with your relationship, the very first person, even, you know what? The Lord said this. The Lord said, if you come to him and you know you got a problem with your brother, or it could be a sister, go handle it with him or her one-on-one. Then come back and give your gift. So the Lord telling you, if you have a problem, you pray basically for the Lord. You pray to the Lord to help you with wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment. You ask God to establish your thoughts and your words. Let the Lord know, say, Lord, I got a problem with my man or my woman. I got a problem. And I need you to help me. So you need the Lord to help you. Most people don't go into the Lord until the last call. So the sheriff said, then talk. You said, yeah, talk to God, then talk to the man or woman. That's right. You pray, ask for your thoughts to be established and your word. You pray to God, then you go talk to that man or woman. Listen, you done went to God. You go talk to that man or woman. Okay, this is how you do it. You go talk to that man or woman. Now, if both of you are Christian, this is for Christian people. This is not for worldly people, because worldly people don't understand this, how to do it. You talk to God and get your mind established and your words. You go talk to that mate. We talk about Christian men and women. Okay. And that man and woman, they may accept what you say. Okay. Especially especially if you're a serious committed and covenant relationship. They may accept what you say. If it worked, you all good. Now, if it does not work at that time, God got another step he wants you to do. He wants you to take 2 or 3 other people, godly people, a member of the church, godly men or women, by 2, so that all your words could be established. Now, if they don't want to listen at that time, then you got to go another step. And that step is to present it to the church. And that's how you resolve relationship problems. First, you pray to God. Then you go to your mate, and hopefully you and your mate can resolve it before you bring anybody else to it. The only people that come into your relationship to help you are godly people. Godly people that are guided by God. Godly people that have wisdom, knowledge, understanding, discernment. That's the step. If you would like to resolve your relationship. Sister Sharon said that's what happened with Pastor Charles Stanley. Yep. You're right. That's how you have to do it, my brother and sister. You got to understand the process. If you don't get nothing else out of what I'm talking at the dinner table, my brother and sister, I'm trying to tell you to keep certain individuals out of your relationship. If you're going to say anything about your mate, my brother and sister, always say something positive. If you cannot say nothing positive about your mate, don't say nothing at all. Sister Cheryl said, thank you so much for the real truth. Thank you, Sister Cheryl. Let me tell you this, my brother and sister. I can tell you right now. How you doing, Sister Jane? There's not one man or woman alive that could say they heard me say something negative about my wife. Not one. I can't answer for her, but I ain't heard nothing coming back. But I'm talking about for me, personally. There's not one man or one woman. Because when some people ask me about, do you and Cinderella have problems? Yeah, we have. Yeah, we have storms. We have storms. What kind? That's not in your business. That's not in your business. If I need your help, I'm going to go to God first. And if you're a godly person, and if I need you, maybe then. But I'm not going to talk to you about Cinderella and my issues. That's Cinderella and my issues. We go to God first. We talk about it. And most of the time, we resolve it within ourselves. So we don't have to add other godly people, not our family members, not our friends or nothing. Like I'm telling you, my brother and sister, I'm not trying to brag or nothing like that. But not one man or not one woman can say they heard Tony M. Toomer say nothing negative about his wife. As of this day, no man or woman can say that they heard me say nothing negative about my wife. They want to know, because some people, they'll tell me all that stuff about their husband and their wife or whatever. And they think that I'm going to talk to them about my wife and all that kind of stuff. The only thing I could say is, yes, we have had storms in our relationship. We have went into a storm. We have been in a storm and we came out of the storm. And let me tell you about some storms sometime. A lot of time, my brother and sister, when you go through a storm, a lot of time, you might not believe it, but a lot of time you grow in a storm. A lot of time you get closer going through a storm. A lot of time you do. Just like a tree. When you plant a seed in the ground, it takes the sun and the rain to help that tree to grow. You see, if you have too much sun, the tree is gonna wither up because it needs moisture, it needs water, right? So you need some rain. But if you have too much rain, it's gonna have a negative effect on the tree too. So you need the sun and the rain for the tree to grow. And that's just like a relationship. You need the sun and the rain for the tree, your relationship to grow. You got to understand that, my brother and sister, if you want to go in a relationship. And you got to understand this. Whatever storm you go through your relationship, the Lord Jesus is there. He's there. You may not think he's there, but he's there. Jesus is the captain of the ship. Jesus will drive the ship. Some of you have been on cruises before, right? Some of you have been on cruise before, and guess what? Sometimes it could have been a storm out there and you didn't even know it. You was inside the ship and everything was smooth, but the captain was dealing with the storm. But you was on the inside of the ship. You understand? So sometimes you go on cruising, it started out a beautiful sunny day, and then sometimes you run into a storm. But the captain, they know about a storm is coming, and they try to avoid the storm, or they're going to go through it. Most men and women, that the only time you see the captain is at the captain dinner, right? That's the only time you see the captain. You know somebody is in control of the ship, right? And you know that person in control of the ship, but you don't see him, but you know he's there. That's just how Jesus is. You don't see Jesus with your eyes, but he's there. He is guiding your relationship. Listen to what I said, relationship. Jesus is the captain of the ship. Jesus is the anchor of the ship. Jesus can help you maintain your relationship. You see, this is what Jesus would do. If you allow Jesus to be in your relationship, brother and sister, he will pull your relationship together. But he will not make you stay together. You got to understand it, my brother and sister. Jesus will not make you stay together because he does not take your free will away. But he will help you to maintain your relationship. So you got to exercise your free will, brother and sister. You got to exercise your free will to stay in a relationship. And if you exercise your free will to stay in a relationship, the Lord will help you to stay there. But he's not going to force you into a relationship. That's what some people don't understand. Don't you know, my brother and sister, that God could bring a man and a woman together and they could end up divorcing? Some of you think that just because if God bring a man and woman together, they're going to be together forever and ever and a day. Not necessarily true. God could bring the right man and the right woman together, but he does not take away that man's free will. For example, let's look at Adam and Eve. God brought the perfect couple together, but they messed up. You know why they messed up? They exercised their free will. When they exercised their free will, God gave them a boundary, and they went beyond the boundary. And when they went beyond the boundary by eating the forbidden fruit, they messed up their relationship with God, and they messed up their relationship within themselves. So when it comes to an imperfect man and an imperfect woman, God have a boundary. And if you go beyond that boundary, you're going to be just like Adam and Eve. You're going to sin against God, and you sin against your mate. There's no way you could have a strong, growing relationship without the Lord in it. Because Jesus said, I am the vine, ye are the branches. You cannot do nothing without me. That's what Jesus said. He was talking about life in general, but we're talking about relationship. Jesus again said, I'm the vine. Because you see, the life, the juice travel through the vine, not the branches. An apple don't grow on the branches. If you notice that the apple don't come directly from the branch. The peaches don't come directly from the branch. Nothing comes directly. The branch support it. But the life is in the vine. I heard it through the grapevine. It's the life is in the vine. What did Gladys Knight say? I heard it through the grapevine. Marvin Gaye said, I heard it through the grapevine. I heard it through the grapevine. Jesus is the grapevine. If you didn't know it, you know it now. So my brother and sister, if you have any questions or comments, you could go ahead and ask your question or make your comment. Just put wait and ask your question or make your comment. If you don't have no question or you don't have no comment, I would like to tell you thank you. I appreciate you, brother and sister, being at the dinner table tonight. And hopefully this food for the soul really gave you, Sister Cheryl said, this is what a Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner all roll into one. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Cheryl Ferguson. And let me tell you this, my brother and sister, thank you so much for being at the dinner table. Thank you so much. You could have been doing something else, but you decided to eat dinner with your brother Tony. I hope that you all enjoyed the dinner tonight. I really do. And guess what? Lord willing, I'm going to have some more dinner for you tomorrow. I love you, brother. I love you, sister. Remember that. Believe that. C'est la vie. Peace out.